All right, today we are fixing this front end. These frame rails are junk. They've been in here for a while, but they look like shit, they fit like shit, so I'm gonna fix them. So first things first, we're gonna figure out how long we want each side. Then we're probably gonna hack off the actual pads that will mount to our bash bar, and then do one side and use the bash bar to kind of line up the other side. The other thing that's going to help us is the brackets here for the headlights attached to the car and kind of give us a guide as to where it's supposed to be. And then we'll use the hood, which is pretty well landed on the car, to line up exactly where we want the headlights and use that as another guide. So it should be pretty straightforward. One pipe out to a pad, tack it in place, bolt the bash bar to that to help us find the other side, and we'll have a front end again. Then we can worry about the rest of the engine bay, which I'd like to clean up, cut out some stuff that we don't need, and paint the whole thing some pretty color. Now I gotta climb out of here. Here it comes. So as you can see here, actually where it lined up is not too far off. We've got pretty good fitment. I have a little bit of adjustability inward, but I think ultimately I want this down here so it's not interfering with the hood as it kind of lands, which is right about there. All right, we have our initial measurements, so there's really one thing left to do. Time to hack off this old crap. Remember kids, wear your PPE, you don't want metal in your eye. Ask me how I know. So, we got it off. You want to know part of the reason why we're doing this. I had to cut halfway through before it fell off. And on the other side, it didn't line up at all. This sucks, so we're going to make it better. It's all mine. Alright, so obviously we gotta clean it up significantly, but shouldn't be too bad. Let's check if this lines up. Alright, so the holes still line up nice. Can't really see. So the holes still line up pretty nice. So I think we can keep using this. It's relatively flat, so we'll clean this up and reuse it. So I've cleaned that up. I bolted this pad onto the bracket, the headlight bracket, with whatever hardware I have. I'll get something better. And then I cut a DOM tube to length. This is something I would have used for roll cage, so it should be strong enough for crash structure. And it's pretty freaking good. I mean, that's like no tacks, nothing. That's just holding up. So we'll clean up each end, we'll tack it in place, measure again, and then move on to the other side. Hell yeah. All right, time for welding. I have this Hobart 220-230 unit. MIG, uses gas or could run flux. It's super straightforward. It's got this guide on the inner body that'll tell you your settings to start with, and then you can adjust accordingly. So all you have to do is find the type of metal, in this case steel, the type of gas. We've got an argon mix, the size of your wire, which for us is 0.03, and then the size of the metal, for us it's an 1/8 inch, and go down to this. So you can see here it is saying a 560, so 5 power, 60 wire speed. And then start there. Depending on how it goes, you can adjust power and wire to get the desired result. place, we can bolt some stuff up and use it as a guide for the other side. All right, this is the side that's tacked in. I've got 2 bolts locked in that hold it in place, line it up. The holes are lined up. I checked the hood clearance, everything matches with the lights. I've got 1 bolt in here because we can do a little bit of adjustment. So we're gonna leave that in place, cut the bracket off, cut these poles out, and then redo this side, tack it all up one more time, and then it's time for welding. All right, this is the funny part. Watching me like skip. Ooh, yeah. Agile, dude. Really agile. You might be looking at me right now going, wow, why isn't this guy like a professional athlete or something? And the truth is, I don't know. I don't know, man. Sometimes, I don't know why I didn't just become a gymnast or like a professional cricket player. I feel like that's pretty chill. I don't really want to do football. I feel like you get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. All right, let's drop this out. All right, at this point, I've got everything tacked in place. Both sides look good. Did some measuring to make sure everything still lines up. Close the hood. We've got a nice fitment on both sides. Maybe a tiny gap on this side, but there's some adjustability. Plus that fender's crinkled, so it's harder to tell. But generally pretty good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull off the bash bar, the headlights, and do our final weld. So I'm by no means a professional welder. Everything I know is self-taught and YouTube, and then talking to people that know what they're doing. I've got a couple buddies who actually do this for a living. So a couple of things that I try to do. It's cold as shit in the garage. So preheating the metal. We're gonna get everything nice and toasty so that we have really good penetration. We're gonna work slow. You don't wanna overheat the metal and cause any warping or anything because we want this to fit right. So I'll probably do like a quarter at a time and move around. And finally, if you have some sort of issue, just back off and take a look at it. I can't tell you how many things I've ruined because I just tried to push through something and then had an issue. So learn from my mistakes there. Take everything I'm doing with a grain of salt. And if you have any tips that I can do better, let me know in the comments. All right, guys, wish me luck. Let's get this done. Not my best work. I'm sure other people can do a lot better, but got decent penetration, got some heat in the metal, so I'm happy. We'll let it cool down and paint it up and reassembly time. Well, that's it for today. Got these rails all sorted, welded. I'll clean them up, paint them. I gotta let it cool down. They're still wicked hot. So that's pretty much it for today's episode. Next time, we're going to finish cleaning these up, paint them, and then it's on to the bay. There's a bunch of like random brackets and wiring harness that I can remove, and then repaint the whole thing some pretty color, because that's important. After that, we can get on to the engine. Lots of maintenance and stuff that has to happen there, and then maybe some more power, baby. But have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.